Moom Dust here. Let's talk about all the games happen on November 29th, Monday night. The first game is the Orlando Magic losing to the Philadelphia Sixers. Magic officially the worst team because the Rockets won two straight, and yeah, Magic officially the worst team in the NBA. Um, what are you gonna do? Jalen Suggs news came out that he's gonna be out multiple weeks, which really sucks. He's been playing fairly well. If you got an IR spot, sure, you could put him in there. If you don't, then just let him go. I mean, he was the 181st ranked player in the last 2 weeks, so I really don't see why you fall in love with him. And that's without Cole Anthony and Markel Fultz. So yeah, just drop him. Garrett Harris in the short term. Garrett Harris, RJ Hampton. These two guys might have some streaming value, but I just want to wait and see. Garrett Harris given 30 minutes. He could put up some mediocre value, so you could look at him. And RJ Hampton probably has higher upside than Garrett Harris at this point. It's a shame because Garrett Harris used to be a great fantasy player, top 50 player, averaging 16, 17 points, 1.5 steals, 2 threes. But he's very washed at this point. Wendell Carter Jr. Played okay, 8 points, 12 rebounds, and a steal. Continues to struggle from the field. Mo Bamba is the only bright spot fantasy-wise on this team. 6 blocks after 1 game absence, 17 rebounds. He's being a beast. But if we break it down, just really the rebounds and blocks, nothing else really. He's not really providing much. So you could try to make that trade, and as we talked about many times, Jonathan Isaac is going to be back. He might take 5 minutes away from Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr., both of them actually. So if you can get equal value back for Wendell is probably like an 80, 85 guy. If you want to do that, he's still a long way away. And Magic, because they are basically tanking this year, there's also some concerns there. If your guy gets hurt, he may just be done for the season, not coming back. There's no point. Franz Wagner, the only guy that played well on this team, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. It's probably a good sell high. In the last 2 weeks, let's check out where Frenzy is at. He's actually not ranked. Frank Jackson was ranked. He's not ranked. And on the season, he's also questionable. Had an ankle injury. He's a 130th ranked player. So, come on, guys. Like, if you can get a top 90, 80 guy, do a 2-for-1 for a top 70. Like, Frank Wagner plus somebody for Jordan Poole. That's something I'll be looking to do if you can. After a few games like this, he's going to be inconsistent. A big thing like that, a big thing with him is it's just not that he doesn't have one category that really stands out. Everything he does a bit everything. Literally that. So 1.1 turnover is nice, but everything else is really below average, to be honest. So it's up to you if you want to stream that spot or you want to hold him. Both way works. For the Philadelphia Sixers, Joel Embiid, 30 minutes, continues to... He had a huge game last game versus the Timberwolves because it was a double overtime game. This game, 4 for 16 against some inferior I'm not saying Mo Bamba is bad, but Embiid should be able to move Mamba in the post. Just he's a lot bigger. Not length-wise, but weight-wise, he should be able to move main bodies with him. But I don't know how he shot 4 for 16, and he only took 2 threes. So his conditioning is not the greatest. Continues to be a buy low. Like, throw a top 20, top 25 guy at him. If you start throwing a top 10, 15 guy, well, definitely not 10. Top 15 per game basis-wise, maybe he's top 15, 20 range, but he's going to miss a bunch of games. And as a center, he's not that great efficiency-wise. Free throw is okay, but he's not a free throw anchor. He's not 85 plus. Rebound is good, some assist, a little bit steals and blocks. And what's Joel Embiid's block numbers? That will really determine a lot of his values. Joel, 39th ranked player so far, and 1.5 blocks. Okay, that's good. 1.5 blocks, yeah. 1.5 has the potential to go up to 2. I mean, just across the board, all the counting stats should probably go up, and the efficiency should go up too. He's just underperforming in a huge way. Last year, he was top 3. So if you want to buy low, throw him a top 20 player, I think, at best. top 15. Who knows? He may not even per game basis be top 15. So he's gonna miss a bunch of games with all the Danny Green played 23 minutes, while Matisse Thybulle played 20. Danny Green is gonna ramp up. Like if you want to pick him up now, you could, for some defensive stats and some threes. He should be getting close to 30 minutes once he's up. But again, like hamstring issues, it's always messy. There's a small chance he could be 100%, but maybe not, and the minutes will be low. Tobias Harris took 20 shots. It's just Tobias Harris numbers. A sub-average game, to be honest. Seth Curry went off. Try to sell him if he can, otherwise just hold him. But Tyrese Maxey, this game counting stats still good, 8 rebound, 9 assists, but I would really try hard to sell him. And now that Joel Embiid is back, I would really try to sell him. Matisse Thybulle, 20 minutes, he was a sell high. Like he was mainly like in 20 minutes, he will still provide really good counting stats, but he was averaging 35 minutes with everybody out. And now people are back. He's probably 20 minutes a bit low, maybe between 20 and 25 every night. But a lot of times they really need spacing with Joel Embiid. So, yeah. Andre Drummond, in 18 minutes, he could still be a rebound streamer. Right? In like 15 minutes, he could grab you 7-8 rebounds and some blocks and steals, which he did here, 12 rebounds and 2 blocks, which is still nice. Just put up numbers in 15 minutes, so it's going to be weird how you want to do with him. Like, if your team really loving that rebound, you could stream him. You could still have him on your roster. You don't care about nothing else. If you're pounding points, threes, assists, in those situations, you could look to roster him. And the next team is Denver Nuggets beating the Miami Heat. Well, Morris is still out, so looks like it's a pretty, Jokic hurt him pretty bad. Whiplash. Jokic had a wrist injury of his own. 24 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. Just such good numbers. Like I still would trade. If I got Curry, I would still, forget about my team build. I still prefer Jokic over Curry. And yeah, Eric Gordon had a good game, and he will continue to have games like this with everybody out. But he's very inconsistent. Efficient-wise, got some issues. Counting stats should be okay. Jeff Green, he could be rostered. He doesn't offer a lot of defensive stats, but points, threes, and efficiency is good with Jeff Green. And the minutes will be high. Will Barton took just 7 shots. He was a bit sell high a couple weeks ago. Now, probably just a hold. The counting stats still look good. 14 points, 4 threes, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Monte Morris's assist numbers have been going up. The only thing he offers really at this point is just the assist, which is hard to find on the waiver wire. So if you want to hold him, if you love those assists, and he's an efficient guard, like he won't hurt you anywhere, but he won't get you those huge defensive stats or rebounds, points. And Campazzo, a guy we could definitely think about picking up. 24 minutes, really good assist and steal streamer. Or if you love those two categories, you could have him on your team as well. For the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler was out this game. Yeah, the problem with Jimmy is that every year he misses games. Well, he did play 17 games so far this year. Missed maybe 3-4 games, but he always misses games. He doesn't have like big injuries, but he'll miss games. Sometimes he misses a back-to-back. So this game, Martin started, had a decent game. PJ Tucker had an okay game, but not fantasy relevant. Bam Adebayo, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. Again, no defensive stats. The counting stats look really good, and 50% from the free throw line again. Bam continues to be a buy low, but it'll be hard after 24 and 13 and 6 assists games like this. But there's still so many areas he could improve on, just like Joel Embiid. So many counting. Counting stat-wise, maybe not the points and rebounds, but everything else really can improve. Duncan Robinson hit 1 3, took 9 threes. What's going on with him? And Tyler Hero didn't even play this game, so you would think Duncan would, score more points, but Kyle Lowry, 17 points, 14 assists, continues to be assist, big assist guy. And if he struggles, just look to buy low. He's very, very solid. 8-9 category leagues, especially if you're thinking about the guard stats he's providing. Like he won't score a lot, but he will hit a lot of threes. He'll get steals, he'll get assists, he'll grab rebounds as well, even though he's a little guard, but he's very, very wide. Can box out well, and he gets some blocks as well, decent blocks. Like not zero, but like 0.3. Gabe Vincent and Max Strauss both had a decent game, but they're not really fantasy relevant, even when guys are out. Let's talk about the next team, the Charlotte Hornets. Give me 1 second. Okay, the next game, the Charlotte Hornets losing to the Bulls. Hornets, they lost to Rockets, now they lost to the Bulls. They're still sixth in the Eastern Conference, so not too bad. Gordon Hayward had another huge game. I don't know why they gave him 37 minutes. You know, when you have a bunch of other young guys on this team, it's not like he played well. I think if you can get a top 50 guy back for Gordon Hayward, I would, because the upside is so limited. Like, he won't have games where he scored 30, 40 points, and he's not a guy that will give you a lot of counting stats either. So I would look to trade, but in this game, really good. Did a bit of everything. Miles Bridges, what's going on with him? In the last 2 weeks, Miles Bridges, his usage has been, 76 ranked player, averaging 16 points, 7.5 rebounds, very low steals, 0.6 steals with 1 block. And the efficiency seemed to be where he needs to be, like 47% and 80%, 77 from the free throw line. Like, those are not too far off. It's mainly the usage has taken a huge hit. And he's attempting 14 field goals last 2 weeks. And on the season, Miles Bridges taken 16. So 2 field goal per game difference. Probably more, like if you compare him in the last 2 weeks once Terry Rozier comes back versus, first part of the season where Terry Rozier did not play. So probably like 3-4, and then he plus the free throw attempts. So he's taken a usage hit with Terry Rozier back. That's understandable. Don't think he could continue to be the top 20 player. I think we all know that. Realistically, around 30, 40, 50, depending on how many defensive stats and efficiency looks like. But should be a top 50 player pretty comfortably. So, if you can get him for a top 50 player, I would do it. Like, I still get Miles Bridges. If I got Terry Rozier, I would trade away Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is a huge sell highlight. If you can get him for top 20, top 25, do a 2-for-1, 2-for-2, those sort of trades, he's the 8th ranked player. He's doing it again this year. Last 2 weeks, 22 points, 1.5 steals with 3 threes. If you can get this 1.5 steals and the efficiency stay up, he could be a top 50 guy, but I bet my money he won't stay there. Shooting 50%. It's just 6 for 7 from the 3. I mean, he's just super hot, but he was a minus 22 on the team. So even though he played, the stats look good, but he didn't really help his team win this game. I don't know what happened. LaMelo Ball, just when he's struggling with his shot, but it doesn't really matter. He grabbed 7 rebounds, 13 assists. Man, this guy is such a beast in fantasy. For sure going first round next year. 1 steal and a block, 18 points, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. And Kelly Oubre Jr. and Peter Washington. This game, Nick Richards started and played just 7 minutes. I don't know what's that for. Mason Plumlee is going to be back eventually, take some minutes from PJ. So if we can sell PJ Washington for anything, it's second game now. Like, he played really well. This game, 5 for 7 from the 3, a steal and a block. It's not sustainable. And once Mason Plumlee comes back, he could just go back playing 20 minutes. Kelly Oubre Jr., he's hot and cold. He's not a must roster, but every once in a while he'll get games like this. 18 points, 2 steals and a block with 2 threes. For the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan, 28 points, just continues to be out-usage Zach LaVine on this team. So I guess my concern with Zach LaVine, his usage might take a little bit hit. Like, it's happening, but it's not, maybe he scored two fewer points on average, right? It's about the other stuff. Again, Zach LaVine, no defensive stat this game. 6 rebounds, 5 assists is okay, 2 threes. but I want to see him getting those defensive stats. Without them, he's not going to be a top 20 player. 30, where he probably drafted 30, 35. Nick Lavochevich, 30 points, 14 rebounds. This is one of his best games. So if you bought low on him, congrats. Now it will be hard, after this game. And he finally out of the shooting slump, DeMar DeRozan, 28 points. Yeah, we just talked about him. And Lonzo Ball, all the Bulls guys, such good fantasy players, to be honest. Lonzo Ball, just crazy efficiency again. 8 assists against his brother, of course. 8 assists is still in the block, 16 points. Can't complain. And 4 threes. Kobe White, getting consistent 20 minutes. But, he's not really fantasy relevant at this point. Alex Caruso, the minutes is lower now that Kobe White is back. And Vucevic is back. He should still get 25. Still a must roster, in my opinion. Get 7 assists. Struggle from the free throw line, but steals and assists should be very, very solid. I think he's leading the NBA in steals at this moment, so let's just hold on tight. The next game, Oklahoma City. The Rockets, they're on the road. They won 3 straight, I believe. 3 straight or 2 straight? I know they beat the Hornets, yeah. They won 3 straight. Ever since Jalen Green went down, they won 3 straight. It could also be that what am I talking about? Daniel Theis stopped starting. Well, we'll talk about Rockets later. We'll talk about OKC. They're a mess. Lou Dort could be rostered. Did not have the best game here. 7 points and 2 steals. Darius Bazley, let's just get rid of him. Play just 20 minutes. They do have a back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday. So if we got Darius Bazley, you might as well just hold till Thursday and then get rid of him. Robinson Earl also struggled, but you could hold till Thursday. No worries there. Josh Giddey also struggled, but yes, he's gonna do that. He's a really bad shooter, like field goal wise, and free throw is also bad. But five rebounds, 7 assists are still like the counting stats are very solid. In category leagues, I think he's a must roster still. Maybe a buy low. Like his ranking is really bad because of efficiency issues. But you could try to get him. Like if you can get Franz Wagner for Josh Giddey, that's something I will be trying to do. In the last 2 weeks, he is the 144th ranked player, averaging 13 points. That's fine. 0.6 steals, could go higher than that, while shooting 42% with 2.7 turnovers. So again, he may not be for everybody. Like if your team is super efficient, sure. Like if you're pounding field goal and turnovers, his value goes up a lot. The counting stats very solid. Ranking wise, not so much. Shea, weirdly 2 for 6 from the free throw line, but 22 points, 2 steals and 2 blocks. Took 20 field goals. He was aggressive this game, trying to carry OKC, but the starters played too bad. Isaiah Roby and Trey Mann, because the starters are playing so bad, they got the extra minutes. Both play well, but I don't think that's going to be a thing moving forward. It's just one game because they. The whole starting unit was struggling, so they got more minutes instead. It will go back to normal, I think, next game. For the Rockets, a lot of good things. Starting with Christian Wood, 24 points, 21 rebounds, still 3 blocks. He is back. Christian Wood, if you bought low on him, man, sometimes that's what it takes. Just a simple lineup change, right? 2 guys, Jalen Green was out, and Daniel Theis was out, and then boom, just completely unlocked Christian Wood. So that's what's made it interesting, right? Like because they have more spacing now, they play really, really good. Şengün, he used to be the backup center, and Daniel Theis is a starting center, and he only used to play 24 minutes, but now he has to come off the bench to back up Christian Wood, and we know Christian Wood will get 33 minutes tonight, right? That actually made it worse for Şengün's situation. And as long as they're playing well, they're not going to change it. So he basically has to play the backup center minutes to Christian Wood's minutes. So he won't crack 20 minutes tonight, I don't think, unless it's a blowout or something like that. So I think Emperor Şengün, we could look to drop him, to be honest. You would think that with Daniel Theis getting DNPs, Şengün might get more minutes, but no. And it looks like they're probably not willing to play Şengün and Christian Wood together. Where things are now is working out for Rockets. So in the short term, I don't see why Şengün would get more minutes. So I think it would be perfect to just leave him out there. Leaving him on the waiver wire. Garrison Matthews, another great game. Like if he needs points and threes until Jalen Green comes back, sure. Jae'Sean Tate had a great game. Everybody played well. 15 points. But it was against some bad teams, to be honest. OKC last game was, well, Charlotte Hornets was a decent team, but not great defensively. Christian Wood, yeah, Rockets, they're trying to run all the time, so they would have some exciting fantasy numbers. Eric Gordon, 11 points, could be a points and 3 streamer. And Kevin Porter Jr., great game. I mean, 4 for 17 and 2 for 3 from the 3, and only 4 turnovers, so that's great. But 10 rebounds, 11 assists, and 3 steals. You guys can go to YouTube and check out how they're trying to get a triple double. How Kevin Porter Jr.'s teammates trying to get him the triple double, the last rebound in the last seconds. It was pretty funny, but he got his triple double, 3 steals. He's been playing fairly well. So if you picked him up on a waiver wire, congrats. But again, he's not for everybody. If you're not punting a few efficiencies, he's hurting you more than he's helping you. Yep. So let's go to the next game, the Indiana Pacers. We got 5 more games to talk about. The Indiana Pacers losing to the Timberwolves. Timberwolves playing well, Justin Holiday, minutes is high for him. 15 points. If you want some threes, some defensive stats, and Pacers got it back-to-back. They got 4 games this week or 3 games. Sure. In that situation, I'm down to stream him. Otherwise, just leave him on the waiver wire. Karis LeVert has not been good. 3 for 14. Not good. And he's not getting any defensive stats either. That's not really helping his value. In the last 2 weeks, where's LeVert? He's not ranked. So I'm okay with you dropping him, to be honest. With the back issues, he can't be that aggressive defensively. So as a result, he's not getting the defensive stats, and we know he's inefficient. Then why we have him? Sabonis, wow, this is a huge game. 25 rebounds. He was angry this game, but the usage remained to be low. Only took 12 shots. The 3 other guys took more. I mean, Justin Holiday took more shots than him. It's just weird. Why he's not getting more shots. But maybe he's facilitating. 10 assists here is also good. 25 rebounds, a steal, 16 rebounds. Obviously a good game. Could sell high, but because he's been really underwhelming lately, probably just a hold. Malcolm Brogdon, 25 points, 3 steals. That's good to see. 5 assists while TJ McConnell started. Is this going to be a thing moving forward? Because Miles Turner was out. So if Miles Turner played, he's still going to come off the bench. So I would. So that just tells you, Coach love Rick Carlisle love TJ McConnell. You have your center out. So let's start our backup point guard and go small, right? He's the 6th man off the bench, so his minutes should be secure moving forward. Like he probably fit with any lineup the Indiana Pacers has. So I think we want to roster him. I mean, he didn't have the best game here. Well, 2 steals and 4 assists is still good. But in 35 minutes, we'll probably expect more out of him. And the rest of the Pacer guys, Chris Duarte is for sure is a drop. I mean, 14 points is still decent, but the minutes, the usage, they're all gone. So drop him. For the Timberwolves, Torian Prince and Joshua Okogie started. This game, Jaden McDaniels and Vanderbilt both out. So they got the opportunity, but we know they're not going to do anything. And they didn't do anything. Joshua Okogie had 2 steals and 2 blocks. That's decent. And Karl Anthony Towns had 9 turnovers. What happened? 5 for 8 from the free throw line. So, those 2 categories were pretty bad, but at 32-8. Really good field goal. So probably overall negative. And he fouled out again. What's going on with him fouling and getting 0 blocks? So he's gotta be careful. I'm not worried about Cat. He still played 32 minutes, but this back-to-back games he fouled out. That's pretty interesting. Anthony Edwards, as a result, played 40 minutes. 21, just a beast. Getting the counting stats, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 threes. But the field goal and the turnover is a big issue for him. D'Angelo Russell continues to play well. 21 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. Super, super good, To be honest, D'Lo this year has been good. And ranking-wise, he is not good because of the efficiencies. But counting stats-wise, super solid. Well, I take that back. Ranking-wise, he's the 31st ranked player in the last 2 weeks, averaging 21.5 points, while only shooting 42.6% with 17 attempts. So if you don't worry about the field goal, he might be moving to top 20. So really, really good stuff for D'Lo. Like, obviously, if you can get a top 35 guy back for D'Lo, top 35 guy that I'm thinking about is if you can get a who's struggling lately. Yeah, Damian Lillard is that if you can get him for Anthony Edwards, him plus somebody for Anthony Edwards, that's something absolutely I would try to be doing. Vucevic is another guy that will be. He's just I don't know if he'll sustain this level for production. 21.5 points in the last 2 weeks with 7 assists. I think both counties have probably go down, and the blocks numbers is also crazy, 0.9 blocks. But either way, counting stat wise, he should be getting close to 20 points and 5 assists. But efficiency is always being a big issue with D'Lo. Malik Beasley came off the bench. He could be a 3-point and point streamer. He took only 7 shots here, weirdly. His only job is to catch and shoot, but yet he only took 7. You would expect him to get 10 more shots. The next team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wow, the Cavs are good. The number 1 ranked defense. They're good this year, led by Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is good. They are 9th in the East. I mean, who knows? They might make the playoff this year. This starting lineup is actually scary height-wise. They got Norrie Markkanen. He's a must roster. 24 points, 8 rebounds. Probably a sell high. 5 threes. Probably a sell high if you can get any top 50 guy back. Evan Mobley, great. Great from the field. 2 for 3 is not good, but he's a guy that can do everything. He can grab rebounds. He can get some assists. It's not like he gets 0 assists like many centers. Evan Mobley in the last 2 weeks, 80th ranked player in the 2 games. So, the last 2 games maybe not the best, but you could see how he's averaged 3 blocks in the last 2 games, but while only shooting 45% and 60% from the free throw line. So, the efficiency will improve. But he's been blocking a lot of shots, and we know he can bring all the categories. So that's really good. Jarrett Allen also went off again. Jesus Christ. They did play the Mavericks. They did have Porzingis. I mean, Porzingis is probably not a good interior defender. A help defender, block shots from little guards. That's what he's good at. He went off again. I want to say sell high, but realistically, you're not going to get equal value back. So for guys like Jarrett Allen, the field goal is so crazy. 70% again. 20 points and 40. This is so crazy. The only thing is he's not blocking a lot of shots. If he is, then he's like basically top 20, I think. In the last 2 weeks, he's actually averaging 23 points and 13 rebounds. Crazy stuff. 32nd ranked player, obviously a sell high if you can. Isaac Okoro getting the minutes but not doing anything. And Darius Garland, another good game, 18 and 9. No steals, but the efficiency is decent. This game man hit 1-3. Ricky Rubio, don't drop him, guys. Like, his efficiency is bad, but 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal is still very solid. He's a team best, plus 30. Probably feeding Jarrett Allen. If you're a big man, you just love playing guys like this, Ricky Rubio. They're just finding you left and right. So, for sure, he's also contributing. And also, Darius Garland, also a good passer. Of course, Kevin Love, let's not worry about him. And we look at Dallas Mavericks. Moses Brown played just 11 minutes. So I don't know what happened there. Kristaps Porzingis, here we go again. He was playing really well, and he got hurt. 27 minutes to the end, but before he left, he had 4 blocks. Okay, let's see how many games he's going to be out this time. I think you could say, it's unlucky he sprained his ankle, but, have that length, and that body is just so fragile. Like, today's ankle, tomorrow is back. The next day something else. So it's good for him just be on the outside and shoot threes and not bang bodies with other dudes. Just play chill and play some help defense using his quickness. And he moved very quickly laterally for a guy that his size, but the body is so fragile. I don't know. You obviously hold when he's again, like he will come back and put up big numbers, and you have probably opportunity to trade him. Like, if you don't want to deal with this, you could try to. For sure, you could get a top 30, 35 guy back. Try to get like a Vucevic, top 30 in that range, or like Anthony Edwards. That's the trades that I'll for sure be doing if I own Porzingis. But they obviously provide different values. The biggest value he's providing is the blocks. Dorian Finney-Smith, in the short term, because he's gonna be out. Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith. I think we could pick him up, see if anything happens. Tim Hardaway Jr. 2 steals and a block, surprisingly, and 6 threes. Nothing else. Luka Doncic, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, a steal, 0 for 4 from the free throw line. What? WTF? He's such a bad free throw shooter now. Luka, 52nd ranked player in the last 2 weeks, shooting 53% on 5 attempts. That's got to be like one of the worst in the NBA. That volume. Like probably worse than Giannis, to be honest. I mean, Russell Westbrook was shooting 70% last 2 weeks. So I don't know what's up with him. What's up with Luka? So in the years to come, you just have to pound free throws now. When you draft this guy, you also probably need to pound. Well, maybe not field goal. His field goal is okay. Maybe pound turnovers. I don't know. Yeah. It sucks. Maxi Kleber, I think we could pick up. He's like a mini Brook Lopez. He'll hit some threes and blocks, and that's it. And Jalen Brunson only got 22 minutes. I don't know. It's obviously not good, but I want to hold him for a few more games just to see where the minutes are going. If he's not getting the minutes, then unfortunately he's a drop. Let's go to the next game. The Wizards lost to the Spurs. Wow. Wizards started off the season hot, but has not been playing well. KCP, again, crazy efficiency, 17 points and a steal. He's been playing really, really well. Like, if you want to stream him at this point, sure. Like, he's putting really good points, threes, and steals. And okay efficiency. I mean, good efficiency, not okay, 64%. He's also always known as the guy that not that great efficiency-wise, but he's doing it lately. Kyle Kuzma, 13 points, not the best game, but could be rostered for his rebounds. Daniel Gafford, 22 minutes, and while Montrezl Harrell got 20. So, hey, games like Daniel Gafford only played 22. Harrell played just 20 minutes. He didn't even play the 26 minutes. He didn't even get all the backup center minutes. So, like I said, Harrell went from a top 20 player to droppable real soon, just in a week of time, because he loses minutes. Daniel Gafford, in 22 minutes, a great game. 10 double and a block with 3 assists. While Bradley Beal continues to. Bradley Beal is not going to average the numbers he was averaging last year. I think he's really trying to spread the ball around a little bit more this year. So last 2 weeks, 74th ranked player, 22.5 points. Sure, that could go up. 6.5 assists is good, but a lot of turnovers. The defensive stats is a bit low, 0.8 and 0.1. But he has not been good, and I don't think, to be honest, he's going to be per game basis by top 20. From the way of things from where we're looking at now, only 2 threes as well. I don't know if he will be top 20. So when you go buy low on him, just be careful. If you trade him, if you try to get him with the top 25, top 20 player, he might just be a top 20 player, I think. It's a real possibility. But realistically, probably top 15. The rest of the season starting today. He just has not been playing well. On the season, where is his ranking? Yeah, 65th ranked player. That's another guy, first round guy that's been really underperforming. Like Damian Lillard has been playing really good. Where's Damian Lillard? Yeah, 36. Well, still 36 ranked player, but not as bad as he was beginning of the season because he had a couple of good games. So continue to be a buy low for Beal. And Harrell is close to drop. What are you gonna do if you didn't sell high on him? For the Spurs, Kelton Johnson, 5 minutes, 13 points, 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Jacob Poeltl, 14. Poeltl is back. A steal and 2 blocks, 11 rebounds, great stuff, and 7 offensive rebounds. But with him, you probably want to pound free throws and threes and points. Well, points, maybe not. But threes and free throw, he just such a negative. Threes, just absolute zero. Derek White, here we go. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists still. If he does it 2-3 more games, is a sell high. 1 game, it will be hard. But he's been playing fairly well in the last 2 weeks, Wow, he 33rd ranked player in the last 2 weeks. Averaging just 15 points, not too crazy, 1.5 threes. But the steals and blocks are coming in. Like, he could average 1.3 steals, 1.2 steals. I wouldn't be surprised. He can block 1 shots, 1.2 blocks. And, he shot the ball still bad, That's why Derek White is such a beast in fantasy. You look at that stat, you say, okay, there's room to improve, and he's already 33rd ranked player. So just hold on to him tight. Josh Lloyd is right about this one. He just brings so many categories across the board, and if the shooting goes up, he should be comfortably ranking-wise top 50 player. Devonte Mori, another almost triple-double with no defensive stats, so good game from him as well. And Thaddeus Young got his 12 minutes, but let's just drop him everywhere. Let's go to the next game. The Portland Trailblazers losing to the Jazz. Ugly loss for them. Robert Covington, man. I understand it was a blowout, but the minutes is just too low. 19 minutes, a block. He's still a holding category leagues. In points league, you probably should get rid of him a long time ago. But in category leagues, just still holding in hopes of, he would turn it around. And you just got to remember games like this. And if he had 3 steals and 3 blocks in 35 minutes, you say, okay, now I got to trade him, right? You can't, when he's playing well, you'd be like, shoot, I don't want to trade him, right? And he's playing worse, you're thinking about dropping him. You gotta think the opposite. So now just gotta hold. He'll be better than this. Tony Snell started because was out this game. A bunch of guys were out, but he's literally the worst fantasy player. He could play 40 minutes, have like 5 points and 3 rebounds and 1 assist with nothing else. So yeah, let's leave him. And Jusuf Nurkic got 27 minutes because he was against the Jazz. They need a big body. Got his 27 minutes. Really good game, fantasy-wise. 24 and 10. The thing with him is just the minutes. I'm not worried about his production when he's playing. Grabbing a lot of rebounds, block some shots, get some steals, get assists. CJ McCollum. Going back to CJ McCollum, to be honest, top 50 player. He was getting a lot of defensive stats. He stopped getting them in the last 2 weeks. CJ McCollum, 114th ranked player. So probably a buy low if you can. Top 50 player, mainly just the points and threes. And Damian Lillard, the bad Damian Lillard again. He had a week where he was going off. And he's still, in the last 2 weeks, the 7th ranked player. So let's just back off on him. He's almost back. I still do worry about the groin injury, but it's just one bad game. Let's not worry too much. And all the bench guys. Anfernee Simons, look at that. Got his 30 minutes. Great production. 20. Wow, Norman Powell, I just remember. Norman Powell was out. So Anfernee Simons, got a bit more usage, got some playing time. A good points and 3 streamer. And given the minutes, of course. If Norman Powell is back, I probably won't care about him that much. For the Jazz, Great Wayne, Joe Ingles. This game, what's his name? Royce O'Neal is still out. So Joe Ingles started, had 6 assists, but at this point, he's pretty washed. A couple years ago, he's a really good assist guy. Really good assists, steals, threes. Very efficient. He's still very efficient. This game, one of his best games of the season. Bogdanovic, 13 points and nothing else. This is why occasionally he'll pop out for 30 points. Most nights give you 13, 14 points with 2 threes and nothing else. Rudy Gobert, huge game, 16 rebounds, a steal and a block, 21 points, a plus 29. Really scary stuff from Rudy, and he stood on his own. Versus the guards on the Blazers. Donovan Mitchell, wow, this is for sure a surprise. In the last 2 weeks, actually in the last week he hasn't played well in the last 2 weeks. 46 ranked player. But I'm mainly talking about his steal numbers. He got 4 steals again. He's just been getting so many steals. Like, Jazz as a whole only got 6, but he got 4. So another thing I noticed is that Royce O'Neal this year been getting crazy amount of steals. And maybe because they just play some teams. Maybe they're just lucky. They just play some teams that throwing the ball away. But these 2 guys are getting a lot of defense. So I wonder if they're doing anything different with their defensive scheme that really unlocked those 2 guys to get. Like, Royce O'Neal was not a good steals guy last year. So I don't know what happened. Donovan Mitchell was a good steals guy in his rookie season. The last 2 years was not good. So I don't know. Maybe something's changed defensively. I don't watch enough Jazz games to know. But something maybe changed. Maybe it's just luck so far. I don't know. but he's been doing it for 20 games. It's not a small sample size exactly. Mccollum is, this is why I want to trade him. 2 points and 6 assists and nothing else. If he's have good games, 30-point games, really try to trade him for top 50 or 60, or do a 2-for-1 to get rid of him. He's gonna set up some back-to-backs as well. Hassan Whiteside, 30 minutes, had 2 blocks. You could always stream him for some rebounds and blocks. Jordan Clarkson, 22 points. Points and 3 streamer. I think we all know that. And Rudy Gay on this team could be a scorer, coming off the bench, give you 10 points and 5 rebounds, but that's about it. 22 minutes, not a must roster. I think we all know that. Could be a streaming option. And the last game of the night is the New Orleans Pelicans beating the LA Clippers. What a surprise that is. What a surprise. Brandon Ingram played well, but again, no defensive stats and 2 for 4 from the free throw line. He just, Ingram in the last 2 weeks, he came back from an injury. 136 ranked player, yeah, really good buy low. Like I don't think you get him for any 60, 70 player, but you could try a 70 player, top 70 player plus somebody for Brandon Ingram. He really, at this point, he's just really giving you the points. I mean, the rebound is decent, 6.4 rebound and 4.4 assists is not bad, but absolutely no defensive stats. Low efficiency and turning the ball over a shit ton, 3.4 in the last 2 weeks. So he's underperforming, but let's try to grab low. And Herbert Jones is a must roster at the moment, a must roster. So they making Nikhil Alexander Walker coming off the bench, and they're starting Herbert Jones at the power forward position. And he's 2 steals in the block, 16. I mean, usually he doesn't score points, but he's been getting a lot of defensive stats. Like, I would trade Matisse Thybulle for Herbert Jones right now, by the look of things, because he's providing us more defensive stats and higher minutes, of course. And there's also the risk that with Valanciunas, a lot of defensive specialists, their minutes not going to be high because offensively they're kind of limited. So in a lot of situations, coaches want to have more offense, so they're not going to play guys like this a shit ton of minutes consistently. So that's always a problem with them. But if he's out there on waiver wire, which probably he is, a lot of leagues, have to grab him in category leagues. So good. Valanciunas, he was underperforming a bit last 2 weeks, and now with this game, he's back inside of top. I don't know. Again, if you can get a top 40 guy back, I think 35, 40 guy back, I would. Zion's gonna be back, and he won't have games like this, right? I could see why he just destroyed the Clippers, because they played Zubac 70 minutes. They play Serge Ibaka 26. Serge Ibaka cannot stop Valanciunas at this point of his career, so they kind of went small versus the big, really try to attack him in a lot of situations, but it kind of backfired on them. Really good. Josh Hart, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. He has not played well, but the counties, like the other categories, he's been providing a lot. I mean, 9 assists, super good. 2 steals is also nice. Devonte Graham had an okay game. 3 steals is nice. And Nikhil Alexander Walker, I still want to hold him. I want to see his minutes in the last couple games. If he gets 24 minutes the next week or 2, then I think about dropping him. I still have hope for this guy. For the LA Clippers, Paul George, 27 points, one steal. Did not have the best game, but the points is very, very solid with Paul George. Every single game he'll make sure he gets 20 plus points. But everything else is a bit inconsistent. M3s, of course. Amir Coffey started. He's not really fantasy relevant. Zubac, 17 minutes. Okay. I think he's a hold if you love the rebounds. Very consistent rebounder. This game, because they were down, they want to have more offense, so they just didn't play Zubac. Eric Bledsoe didn't really do anything, but I think he's also a hold. Reggie Jackson had 19 points in Reggie Jackson fashion, nothing else, 4 threes. And that's it, guys. I will see you tomorrow.